What up? What up? What up?
And we are back from an amazing weekend.
Amazing.
Man, we're going to tell you all about it, but wow, Professor T.
Wow is right.
Would you say not only fight of the century, but can we say event? Would you say that for us, event of the century?
100%.
Because you were at Crawford versus Spence, and up to that point for American boxing, Crawford Spence, people were talking about it, right?
Correct.
But it was, it being a pay-per-view. Also, I believe it was at the T-Mobile, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
So you were looking at, let's be honest, was it like 18,000, 20,000?
Yeah, something along those lines.
All right. to be at an event, ladies and gentlemen who are joining us now on TikTok, X, YouTube, Instagram, wherever you guys are joining us from, for me and Professor T to have been in an arena that had 70,482 people. Oh, that was wild. That was wild. And by the way, we're Raider fans. So, I mean, we've been to the arena when we had like 64,000 people, but this was 100 times more electric, bro. I mean, like more, right? Like, can you remember a time at Allegiant that was more electric than this one?
Nope, never. Not a single person, not a single point.
Even it was so electric that the cheers were definitely deafening, right? But bro, when they were booing Crawford, that was deafening, dude. I was like,
it was wild.
Oh man. But to give all y'all context for why for us at the Knockout Canvas, why a week like what just happened in Las Vegas last week for us. I'm talking about for me and Professor T, and for all the people who join us on the channel who truly understand the magnitude of combat sports, right? And they say this in every sports show. In every sports show, they will say this: nothing matches a big time fight. Nothing. There's no sport that matches a big time fight. So I have never personally been to a Super Bowl. Professor T, have you personally ever been to Super? Okay. All right.
Never been to a Super Bowl, no.
Okay. But can we at least agree that if you were just coming as a boxing fan for the first time to an event like this,
right? This
was Super Bowl-like? I could even say maybe greater than?
Absolutely. 100%. This is absolutely Super Bowl-like. I'm sure some will say, it's overkill. I don't think so. I think that would be a spot on, commentary, if you will.
And I say that to all of you to say that it just like when they try to explain hockey to you, right? When they say, well, hockey's a sport you have to be there to watch, right? I don't necessarily agree that boxing is a sport. In order for you to really love it, you don't necessarily need to be there. But let me say, if you have the opportunity to show up to any live boxing,
right? Whether
it's a 2,000 seat arena, 5,000 seat arena, 500 people seat arena, there is a certain tension that happens in a boxing match that again, you realize that people are physically trying to hurt each other, right? But at the same time, there's a mutual respect to both gladiators who will literally try to kill each other
100%.
That day, right? When you magnify that to 70,482 people, I honestly, other than you and me, Professor T, maybe in 2 years when my transplant team says, hey, you and Professor T can go to England or something.
Right.
Other than you and me getting a chance to maybe go to Wembley, right? I can't think of any other time in the USA for a big time boxing match that this will happen for. Can you think of any of them? Like, who's the fighters that could fill out 70,482 seats?
It's not a whole lot, man. Not this day and age. I mean,
not this day and age, man. I can't think of anybody. And
I can't think of one. Not outside of the main.
Yeah.
Dogs.
And for all of you guys who are Canelo lovers, right? And we understand your pain, but we done told you on the show what was going to happen. It's not like we didn't tell you what was going to happen. We told you. All right. This is what's fun about being on record is you could totally clown us if we're wrong, but we were right. So, with that said, I want to paint a picture to everybody who's listening to us tonight, and we appreciate you if you're listening to us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. We appreciate all of you guys. I don't know if we're in the Ultimate Raider fan, but we appreciate you there too if we are.
We are on X. I think I can't stream.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, fight week for me started right on Monday, right? The grand arrivals happens on Tuesday. There are already people. There was literally one of the first people I met was from Ireland. Okay. This guy flew by himself to be in Las Vegas for 8 days so that he can go to every single event that they gave out. And man, there was a lot that they were giving out the whole week. So shout out to Ken. Ken, I won't say your last name, but I will send you this. Us talking about you tonight. You were amazing. It was an honor to watch boxing ringside with you on Wednesday. That was very fun. Turkey Allah Sheikh went right in front of us, right? You could hear Turkey Allah Sheikh's conversation. I put it on my live. If you guys want to see it, it's at Reyes Boxing on Instagram. And for someone like me, who, as you know, Professor T, I hadn't been in the game in quite a while, mainly because of the transplant, right? And to be back in the scene, right? But this time around, I didn't have to work. I didn't have to worry about no fighters. I didn't have to worry about anybody making weight. I just got to be a fan, man. I finally got to see it from the point of view of Ken, who flew all the way from Ireland, bro.
That's wild.
All right, he flew all. And by the way, Lewis Crocker versus Paddy Donovan, which was happening in Ireland in front of 22,000 people, was happening that week. And this Irish man who would have been in that arena
watching
completely was like, nah, man, I got to be in Las Vegas for fight week. Like, that's how important it is. All right. That's how important it was. So anyhow, we got to go to a free, open to the public, 5 amazing boxing matches of 5 amazing up-and-coming fighters that Turkey Allah Sheikh gave for free. So right away, let me just say this, and you know how I like to do this, and you always laugh at this, Professor T. But for all you haters who were trying to tell me the boxing was somehow irrelevant in the United States, and I done told you that it was going to be a top 5 sport, probably now by 2028. Right. But free boxing, have you ever heard of free boxing? Like just giving it away to the people. Here's a free boxing match. Why don't you guys go watch some of the best talents we have? Ever heard of that before, Professor T?
Absolutely not. Not this day and age.
And that's that boxing match. You got to see some of the very best. I urge you guys to go to Ring Magazine YouTube, and you can watch that for free. Or go on my Instagram where I went live on almost all the matches anyways. Reyes Boxing on Instagram, and you can check that out and see it from a ringside perspective view, because I was there. Ran into some people, as you know, Turf. So I want to thank my old acquaintance from back in the day at Wildcard Gym, Steve Bash, for having the grace to get to listen to my story and what had happened to me with liver transplant, how I almost died, and I'm alive today. Finally getting a chance to watch my first boxing week, and invited me to Thursday night's Underdog show, which he was promoting. How times have changed. When I was there way back when, man, he was just working himself up as a manager, and now he's the promoter, man. How times change, right? So this amazing event that was put up at the Fontainebleau Casino, which if you guys have never been to that casino, you need to definitely check it out. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It was at the Blue Live Theater, which would be like an opera house or like a Broadway type of a place to see it. Very intimate setting. And I get invited with these amazing seats, right? And of course, if I get invited to something, then I gotta pick up a phone and go, get your ass over. What are you doing? Right? So Professor T jumps on a plane, rushes himself. He's yelling at the pilot like, make the plane go faster. I'm trying to make it to the event. So Professor T actually arrives into the airport that Thursday, rushes himself to the Fontainebleau. So gets in there. I get off my seat. The second fight had just started, and get to meet him up. I'll let you take it from here. But can you explain it to people what that was like for us, Professor T?
Yeah. So just to give you guys a little bit more on the Fontainebleau. I don't know how they pronounce it. There's actually, I believe, 2 other locations in the world, country/world. I know there's one in Miami. That was the first. And they are definitely very high end. Absolute high-end casinos. Pretty much, if you're a big-time gambler, it'd be a spot that you'd easily want to go to, right, based on the amount of high rolling and all of those good things that they have is in terms of rooms. I mean, even your regular floor, I think they start at like $50, as far as table games, which most people complain about 25. So, but yeah, so you go into this amazing new structure, and like Coach Angelo says, you have opera stadium balcony type setting. As far as multiple layers overlooking the ring. But what was even more impressive was the stage and the setup of the room itself. On the walls, they have visions of, it would feel like if you're from the East Coast, you was in Brooklyn or something, at the Brown, on 125th, wherever, brownstones on the left and the right, you got people hanging out of windows. It was electric. The backstage was a garage door, if you will. I don't even know if it was real or not. Everything was, just very well thought, very well put together, perfect for a fight scene, right? It was corny, but it was so corny it made you feel, you know what I mean? It made you feel that nostalgic, times of back in the day. As kids, you would fight it out, and not what you see today, to be honest. But they couldn't have nailed that environment any better. Shout out to your boy and the promoters and the promotion itself. They honestly could have not done a better job. There was a little bit of an indifference in terms of the lady, calling out.
I think you would have liked her more if you would have started with her opening intro, because they did a whole Broadway thing with her.
Yeah. She was a little annoying to me. I'm not going to even lie to you. She was annoying. But, no, everything was fabulous. And then just the fights themselves on top of it. I didn't understand or know the concept. I'm going to give you, right, I'm going to pass the mic to you to give more on the concept of, right, where these boxers are in their careers, things along those lines. But they were very good, evenly matched fights. Definitely a good bang for your buck, if you will. Shout out to Angelo. I didn't have to pay, so I really don't know what it cost. But I would assume, great crowd. Seriously, guys, I know I'm,
It sounds like we're promoting it, but we're telling you our experience.
It's true.
If me and Professor T would have had to pay for it, we would have paid for the tickets. It was that good.
In a heartbeat. I paid for that in a heartbeat.
So
very impressed. Very impressed.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So context-wise, so you guys could understand, for me and Professor T, who've been watching boxing for a long time, we're used to you basically gave us a place where a ring goes, and then you just see fights, right? There's nothing to that. There's nothing to it, right? You could literally put a boxing ring in a high school gym and then sell tickets, which in a lot of places in the United States, that is what they do, right? They put a boxing ring in the middle of a gym. They sell tickets. You're sitting bleacher seats. What me and Professor T are talking about is, we have ushers, and it's like we're going to a Celine Dion concert or like a Mariah Carey concert, right? And there's actors like on the floor and on the stage, and then the sound system is so good, but the acoustics of the arena is so good.
How do we forget the DJ, dog? How do we forget the... All right,
go ahead and speak on the DJ, Professor T.
Bro, the DJ was fire. He played everything you wanted to hear. I mean, we're a little biased, right? Because, we're showing our age, man. We are showing our age, something else. Although, real talk, even the young crowd could have vibed with this. It was outstanding. I'm telling y'all, I know we're talking a lot about it, but they could have not done anything better. I couldn't think of one single thing. I mean, I wanted to find something to be mad about. There was nothing to find. It was so impressive. It was not what I was expecting at all. I'll be honest, I just did not expect what I received. And if they're going to have that for reasonable pricing, it's going to be a slam dunk. And in fact, it's got me trying to find out where our spots are here in Austin because, as Coach I said before, Austin is a hot spot for just fighting in general across the board.
There's boxing happening there all the time. Some of the best up and coming. If all you wanted to do is take Spence to an amateur event in Austin, man. Right. You guys are a hotbed of boxers coming up, and it's been like that for a hot minute, man. It's been like that for a while. You should definitely take advantage of that for sure, so you can see all the up and comers.
I'm even friends with one of the trainers.
See?
Yeah, and I got a few hookups from Scully down in San Antonio.
Yep.
I really should. It's
time to start telling.
What it is it's just my time.
I know.
Exactly right.
But okay, let me sell you on it a little bit. The Raiders suck this year, and you know it, and I know it.
Yeah.
All right. So there's only so much we could talk about their suckiness, bro. Like what are we gonna do? Keep repeating ourselves? The O-line sucks. We should have drafted O-line the last 2 years. That's all we're ever gonna say anyway.
No, I agree. At this point, that's where we are with it. It's annoying.
In the meantime, Professor T, boxing is thriving, and you're missing out on all these coaches' opportunities and interviews that you could be doing with up-and-coming youngsters going to the Olympics in your area, bro. Come on, baby. Come on.
No, you're absolutely right, man. I'm not even gonna lie. I have no idea why I haven't done more. I've been to a few fights here, bro. I've been to a few. More, I'll be honest, more MMA, fights and more combat sports related things in general. But I have been to quite a few fights here.
Right.
And they were all pretty decent. I'm not going to say that, I was running to go back, right? Let's be honest. But at the same time, because I was also still, right, too busy trying to learn how to fight myself. Like, that's right. You can only go to but so many things. So,
right.
But yeah, man, and you're right. And while I'm here, I'm going to find a way to carve, right? Me just not going isn't an excuse. It's not a good enough excuse. I'm going to find a way.
Yeah, I bet you like Derek James and all these guys would let you go through their gyms and everything, man. Like, just look, man, the Raiders suck. Let's just stick with the Raiders suck. You're doing all these shows on Raiders and they suck. You can only say they suck on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So. But to give you guys context, to get away from our Raider madness right now, boxing wise, so the Underdog series is something I told Professor T about a few months ago that Turkey Alashake was working on, and this is the the agreement between Dana White and Turkey Al Sheikh. So don't be surprised if the Fontainebleau becomes one of the household places that they're going to do the Underdog series for very affordable pricing too, Professor T, for very affordable pricing for people. All right. But the key thing here is free boxing, number one. Number two, this is a chance for us to get back what we used to have when me and Professor T were growing up. And it used to be on USA Network, and it was called Tuesday Night Fights, right? So there used to be this free boxing that would happen. It's called Tuesday Night Fights. It had Sean O'Grady. It had all these different people, and we saw some amazing fights on Tuesday Night Fights, right? There was Tuesday Night Fights, and then at one point there was Thursday Night Fights, and then at one point there was even ESPN Friday Night Fights, right? So we're getting back to that in 2026, and the Underdog was the kickoff to this, right? Now, for me and Professor T, it's pretty special because we'll always be able to say that we were the very first one, the one that kicked it all off, the one that started the show. And just like Professor T said, from the time he sat down all the way to the last fight of the night, tell the truth. Was there one fight that you said wasn't a good fight?
No.
All of them, right? Every single last one of them.
They were all very competitive.
And a lot of these fighters that Professor T saw didn't have more than 15 fights or less than that in some cases, right? He saw 126-pound fighters fight. He saw one of the people that I've been talking about for a while, the American kid, Jaleel Hackett, who just has the one loss, man. But you saw how emotional he was after that win. And I kind of want I want to talk about this a little bit because it has to do with Terrence Crawford. What our channel is trying to do, Professor T, is we're trying to give our audience a positive narrative and understanding that boxing is a sport in where you should respect the athletes, right? And what I hate about the American media and the American audience sometimes is that they take an American fighter like Jaleel Hackett, and just because he lost one fight, man, they're ready to throw him away.
Right.
Just because he lost the fight, right? So you saw that when this kid won by spectacular knockout that night, right? That arguably fight of the night. Would you say arguably fight of the night? Right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Ended by
when he won, you saw him tears, bro, talking about how people were telling him he was going to go work at Walmart.
That's right.
This kid's only 22 years old, Professor T. You see what I'm saying? Like, I would like let's take a look at your son, right? He's trying to make it to the Olympics, right? For track. I mean, you wouldn't feel that good if just because your son lost a race, people were coming up to him going, you know what, man, you really shouldn't be running, bro. You know, you should probably just ask your dad for a job, right? So that's what I mean is I felt bad for him. At the same time, I felt happy for him that he did what he did. And then that evening went on. We got to see even greater fights. And then the main event was a world championship fight at 112 pounds between Anthony Alasquaga, who is East LA, La Princesa, which I found out because I had a conversation with him afterwards. I guess the reason why he calls himself La Princesa, which that did throw you and me off, like La Princesa, that's interesting, right? But I guess when he was younger, he would do things like, a little bit more feminine because he liked that. Like, you know, he'd pretty up, and sometimes he'd paint or get pedicures or whatnot, right? Or what? And then the people in the neighborhood, instead of calling him the prince, would just call him the princess, right? And he kind of liked it, so it stuck. So that's why he's called Anthony La Princesa Alasquaga. But if you guys have not seen this kid fight yet, go to YouTube, type in Anthony Alasquaga, or go to Ring Magazine and type in Underdog, right? And when you see him and how he fights, Bam Rodriguez, man, I love Bam from Texas. You know I do. That's one of my favorite fighters.
Yes.
But it's a good thing he's moving up because this kid's coming, man. This kid is coming. This kid is the truth, Alasquaga. So, and I know you had to take off because you were pretty tired that night, Professor T. But yeah, at the end of the night, I introduced Alasquaga to Captain Jack. So I got that all recorded. Captain Jack was trying to convince him to become a Raider fan. But no, the whole night experience was amazing. The fighters were extremely accessible. I saw Keyshawn Davis that night. He was super nice. I introduced Captain Jack to Rolly Romero, and I was explaining to Captain Jack that Rolly will be Manny Pacquiao's next opponent on December. So that's supposed to be a news. Well, from what I'm hearing, but you know how I'll break news in the channels and then it ends up being true, kind of like Tank Davis, Jake Paul. I told you it was going to happen the way it did, and did it not happen the way it did? Yeah. So from what I'm hearing, it's supposed to be Rolly Romero versus Manny Pacquiao in December. So I was telling Captain Jack, because his wife's Filipina. I said, so now your wife will get mad at you if Rolly Romero. But you'll have a picture. You'll have a picture of that. So, right. But anyways, no, man, that event was amazing Thursday night, and for you it's kind of a double weekend, right? Because you were getting ready for the Raiders on Monday night. You got your boys for the first time coming to Vegas, so you have to go take them to the restaurant that I was taking you.
My boys from the crib.
Yep. So yeah, that Thursday night was amazing. Definitely worth it, and definitely was great to have you. The one thing I kind of wanted you to speak on is, you know how people always complain about, oh man, boxing, it costs too much money, blah 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 blah. And I'm trying to explain to everyone that Turki Al-Sheikh is literally trying to explain to American fan bases that boxing is worth their time, right, to the point where he's giving stuff away for free. Can you tell the audience what happened to us after the fights were over and when we went to merchandising instead of us having to buy stuff? What ended up happening, Professor T?
They were just giving it all away. They were literally giving it all away. They didn't have many sizes, of course, obviously. Those were the ones that got purchased, I assume. But yeah, and in fact, it's funny you say that because I just gave my son his sweatshirt.
Oh!
I told him that's the very first one of the most.
That's the very first one. Exactly. That's the very first one. And I hope he likes it. Did he like the design? Did he like the design and the whole bit? Okay, cool.
Yep. So
cool. So yeah, no. But yeah, that event was definitely an unforgettable moment. And if that's all we got to do, and then we would have went to do the Raider weekend, then that would have been cool. But there was this big event happening, Canelo Crawford, right? And everybody's been talking about it. It was free on Netflix. So right off the bat, let's say you weren't one of the 70,482 people that got to witness it like me and Professor T did, right? It's free on YouTube, just like Kansas City Chiefs versus Chargers the other week, right? All those 6 fights, that was 100% free on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And then the Netflix portion, which, everybody started buying Netflix for $7.99. Right. That was all for free. So over 41 million so far is what they've counted on live, which is the highest ever for a main event boxing match in the history of this century. 41 million. That's a lot of eyes, man. That's a lot of eyes for people to all of a sudden not like boxing, because I can understand if the fight was a dud, or if the fight wasn't amazing, or even the way they showed it on Netflix, if it wasn't electric, I can understand why you wouldn't be a fan. Correct. But someone like your son, if he even took the time to rewatch it with dad, I think your son would go, you know what, Dad? There's something that feels right about this fight.
Right.
There's something that feels good about it. So let's talk about this event in itself. From your perspective, going there with your friends, what was it like for them? Like, can you speak on their behalf? Because first time coming to Vegas, then they're coming to the best fight of the century. Right. What was it like, and what was it like to see it through their eyes?
So they'd never been to Vegas at all. So we did a lot of the tourist stuff. Like you could imagine, everything that we've seen that's been there forever. Some of it even, on its way out. To them, they thought it was crazy. Particularly like the Luxor, right? The statues, just pretty much all of it, man. To be honest, and I mean, I had to take a step back and realize, man, you know what? Go back to when I first came to Vegas. I mean, that was when I was a child, but even still, it's very much the same. You know what
Right.
I mean? It's the same seeing it as a child back then as it is now as an adult. So, yeah, it was very interesting, man. And that was another reason that it was cool to be with him, because obviously for me, not missing the game in the last 4 years, I've been there, and it's kind of cool to see. You know what I'm saying? People, their reactions to stuff that
Right.
you don't even think about. You've seen it so many times, so
Right.
yeah, pretty dope.
Right.
That's pretty dope.
Now, I'm assuming this was the first time of them walking into Allegiant Stadium, and they're not walking in there for a football game. So what did their eyes look like, bro, when they walked in and the whole thing was set up for boxing?
I mean, it was just, to be honest, the one thing that I need to mention about this whole thing, God damn, Mexico, stand up. Jesus Christ, the whole country was there. The whole country was there. I mean, when they say that they follow Canelo and Mexicans follow their Mexican fighters, you're not going to see it in any other race. I'm just telling you, the whole country came out. The whole country. It was nothing but Mexicans up in there. It was crazy. It was wild. But it was a beautiful and great time. I was honestly, real talk, I was honestly shocked that, and I don't mean that negatively, but I was shocked at how cool, everybody was from that respect, because, you know what I'm saying? Canelo being the GOAT, right? And, I shouldn't say GOAT, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, he's definitely on our conversation.
He's right on par with your boy Chavez as far as one of the best ever in terms of
Mexican history. Absolutely, bro. Absolutely, right? I mean, if we do a historical breakdown, it's going to be hard to never put Canelo in the top 3 greatest Mexican fighters of all time, bro. I mean, we'd have to really pull a lot of things from history to not even include him in top 5.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So, it was amazing. I'd never seen anything like it. I mean, you got to remember, this is the first time, at least to my knowledge, that they've had to bring on extra chairs, right? Based on it being a boxing match. This was the first,
including Beyonce's concert. That's why this broke the record for most attendance and most money ever made at Allegiant.
Correct. Yeah, and I mean, for me, it was worth every penny I spent. So yeah, I guess I should dive into this piece while I am at it. My seats were outstanding, and I'll admit, completely ignorant of it, but I got lucky. I just knew. So this is my thing. I'm going to tell you guys right now. I don't know how Coach feels about this, but I think floor seats are the absolute worst on the plane.
100% agree. 100% agree.
Top 3 rows. Top 3 or top 4 rows. Outside of that, man, you just wasted a lot of money. So I always want to be exactly halfway through the first riser, right? So wherever the last floor seat is, that first riser, I want to be halfway up it. And I want to be halfway up it at a minimum, because you have to remember the ring is raised. So you really don't want to be even with the ring, in my opinion. You don't want to be even with the ring. You want to be a little bit above it. Hence that mark. So when you're looking for tickets, long story short, we hit that mark, but it just so happens that we were the tunnel. We were the tunnel for Canelo's fighters, right? Just like there's another side, and that's where Crawford's fighters came through. But being at that, we were literally the second row. So there was nobody in front of us. I could videotape the fighters while they were waiting to walk out. So obviously Canelo had a few where, Crawford's team walked out first, right? So you would see them there, and hey, it's all there, man, on the knockout canvas. That's that exclusiveness that Coach has been talking about, boots on the ground, right? And you'll see, man. Professor T's got some footage up there of the fighters before and after on their way out. Maybe someone's pissed, maybe someone's happy. Check it out. Right? Check those out. But I have asked for better seats. I mean, it was for an epic fight like this. I mean, we'll never. I don't know if we'll ever see it.
I don't think in our lifetime. Like, if I'm being honest, and again, man, and for me, Professor T, I try to be as positive as I can living this the liver transplant life right now. But you already know some of the medical shit I'm about to go through in the next 2 weeks. And none of this is promised to me. So I can at least say that in my lifetime, I don't think I'll see an event like this unless me and Professor T fly to the UK and get to go to Wembley Stadium. All right. So I'm talking about in the United States of America. I can't think of any two singular fighters that can sell 70,482 seats in any arena, bro. Shakur Stevenson versus Tank Davis would not sell 70,482 seats, and I love them. They won't, right? I'm trying to think of who the popular fighters are, right? Boots Enos, I love you, bro. You ain't selling 70,482 seats in Philly, man. Like this, we might have just seen it. That might have been it, Professor T. That might have honestly been it. And when I talk about this,
they will come out for Crawford now moving forward.
Oh, if he continues, which we'll have to talk about before the show's over, if he continues. But let me just say this, and you know how I like to do this type of stuff. Give credit where credit is due.
Yes.
Dana White, bro, you made it happen. You said that there's a reason why you don't like stadium shows. I understand. I've been to the UFC shows when you put it together. There's a certain feel that you make the arena feel with the DJ. Shout out to Albert Linnes. I got to actually meet him. He's been the DJ for the UFC forever now, for like 20 years. And he gets the whole place hyped, but he made it happen. Dana White did a great job with a stadium show. I was there from the very first fight all the way to the very last fight. The way the DJ did the music, the way they did the graphics, the way they did the screen. Did you notice that that screen was so big on top of the ring, but it also didn't get in the way of the ring?
Correct.
You kind of know what I'm saying, right? Like, it was there, but it wasn't there.
Correct.
Like, it was there for you if you want to look at it, but you didn't have to because you could just stare at the ring. So shout out to Dana White for putting all of that together. Shout out to Zuffa Boxing and all of their staff for putting that all together. Shout out to the Allegiant Stadium staff for always being the gracious hosts that they are. We when you get to your seats, you got the magazines and all the little knickknacks that they hand you. That was really nice. Shout out to Turkey Al Sheikh for continuing to promote it. Oh man, yeah, of course. Shout out to Netflix for bringing out all their stars, man. Chappelle was there, Lizzo, all kinds of actors, and in my row, and again, I know some of the dudes. I didn't want to bother them, but Nate Diaz walked by, bro. Broner walked by, right? There's a lot of people that were walking through, which was pretty cool. I really enjoyed sitting with the Nebraska, the Omaha guys, on that section. And then again, for me, man, life moments, and you and I talk about positive energy all the time. But the type of friendships that you could really build. Shout out to Captain Jack for allowing me to have the seat right next to him. I really appreciate that. This is one of those bucket moment lists for me. And I give all the credit to Captain Jack for allowing me to have the bucket moment list with him for this event. So thank you for that, sir. I really appreciate your kindness and your friendship for doing that for me. And then Turf, man, Professor T, that was crazy. It was a crazy event. So let's get to the nitty gritty of that event.
Yep.
In my opinion,
Captain Rafa. What's up, fellas? Rafa in the building. Appreciate you for coming through, my guy. Hope you enjoy the show.
Thanks, Rafa. Nitty gritty of it all. We're seeing that Saudi is becoming a major player in terms of athletics now. You and I got to see 3 of their fighters this past week and how good they're becoming. You also noticed that Abel Sanchez, Triple G's old coach, is the ones coaching all of these people. So you know they don't suck, man. You know that they're going to be good. So that was interesting. But my fight of the night, and in all honesty, I might even have it as fight of the year, man, was Christian Mbili, the WBC 168-pound interim champion, versus Lester Martinez, the number 10 ranked 168-pound Guatemalan version of Canelo. And when the first round started, Professor T, I swear to God, I looked at Captain Jack, I looked at the whole row, I looked at the people underneath there. I'm like, this ain't going the distance.
Nope.
There's no way this is going the distance. Somebody's going to get knocked the F out before this is all said and done. They're throwing way too many punches. They're throwing way too hard, way too early. So I give it maybe 3 rounds if we're lucky. Right. Bro, we get to the 3rd round, and I'm like, this is insane. And when we got to the 5th, I looked at everyone and I said, I will lose my mind if this thing goes further. This is insanity to me, bro. So when they said the final round, 10th round, I was still shocked, Professor T, that we're even watching this brutality of a fight, bro. Like it was like watching Hagler Hearns, but for 10 rounds.
It was crazy.
It was crazy.
It was a wild.
So, first off, like you're sitting with your friends who've never been to Vegas. Tell me what you were looking at. Now, you're the expert in that aisle, but what were you seeing versus how they were looking at it?
It was a great fight. It was nonstop. Every round. You got your money's worth 100%. I thought it was scored properly. I mean, I wouldn't have been mad if the other fighter won or it was a draw. It's not shocking that they, instantly, requested a rematch and was granted the request to have that rematch, right? So it just goes to show you what type of fight that was. That was a barn burner, as they used to call it.
And the intensity of the crowd, because by that time, there was already at least 65,000 people sitting down, if not already close to 70,000. It's like every round, dude, people were like, oh, and they were going crazy at how much these two guys were absolutely killing each other for the entertainment of everyone there, which again is extremely unique, man. Like I can't begin to explain it to you guys. If the way I'll say it is, if you have someone who's never seen boxing and you could sit them down and have them watch Mbili versus Martinez, if they could watch all 10 rounds and at the end of 10 rounds be okay with that much human brutality, right? Then they'll probably be a boxing fan. There's most people that were watching that are not hardcore people like you and me, Professor T. They turned their eyes away because of how hard those guys were hitting each other. Like literally turned their eyes like watching a car wreck. Like, oh my God, what am I watching? So if you guys haven't seen it yet, go to Netflix. It's probably going to be on YouTube. I think it already is on YouTube too. If you want to watch the full fight for free. So either go to Ring Magazine on YouTube or go to your Netflix and watch it. But Christian Mbili versus Lester Martinez is not only one of the greatest fights you'll watch this year. In my opinion, it made my top 10 list of greatest wars to ever watch. And just so people know, in that top 10 list, I have Thrilla in Manila, Ali Frazier 3, in my home country of the Philippines.
Right.
Hagler Hearns, right? Hagler Hearns, 1985, pretty crazy event, right? Castillo Corrales, which is one of your greatest, most favorite fights. Castillo Corrales,
All
right?
Time. All time.
Okay. Gotti Ward.
My favorite.
That might be your favorite, right? Okay. Gotti Ward, right? It's got a. So, am I just overhyping it because I was there, or do you agree that it makes your list as, hey man, you got to go watch this?
Yeah, 100% makes my list. I can't wait to watch the replay too. Like that's the one thing I wanted to do is make sure I got a good clear day. Which is none of these days. I think what it'll be is Friday. Believe it or not, I agree. I forgot I gotta head to Salt Lake City again next week.
You got more work stuff. See, all this damn work.
That's what I'm saying, dude. So I do not want to go through this.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. Well, I'm glad you made it out. And yeah, we definitely need to. I'm with you. I haven't even seen the replay yet. Yeah, I'm still like all this memory. Yeah, all this memory that we're talking about is just from you and me watching it live, bro. Correct. We haven't even watched the replay. I haven't even seen the highlights, guys.
Me neither. Not even the highlights.
All him and I are talking about is what we saw with our own eyes. This might as well be a Sunday show for you guys because we're just recalling what we watched and what we witnessed. So speaking of what we witnessed, first of all, shout out to the Knockout Canvas for predicting it.
Hey.
We just told you. Why don't you guys listen to us? It's not like we're saying it just because we're emotionally opinionated. We actually study these fights. We know these fighters. We go through it. We give you an analytical perspective. And we done told you that Crawford was going to put belt to ass on Saturday. All right?
And that was the thing. For me, it had nothing. Look, I'll be honest. I didn't win any money. Yes, I bet. But I bet based on trying to make money because even the odds makers knew that Terrence Crawford was going to win this fight. Hence why you couldn't make any money. You name the last time anybody's jumped one division, let alone two, and have gotten a nod as far as not being the underdog, if you will, in terms of how this should have worked out. When it comes to the best against the best, we're not talking, right, the best coming up against the average champ at this point. No.
Yeah, this is pound for pound versus pound for pound is what we're talking about.
Pound for pound time. So, yeah. That's just how I see it, man.
So we told you guys that it was going to be belt to ass Crawford over Canelo. We tried to explain it to you and convince it to you every week. Some of the people you'll remember, Professor T, probably from TikTok, was even saying that Canelo was going to do this and Canelo was going to do that, and I was going to be wrong. And all I was doing, man, as I was just trying to give him a perspective of understanding that Terrence Crawford is someone that if he was shown in the same exact platforms as Canelo, would be every bit as popular, and everybody would actually be talking about how, oh man, I don't know if Canelo should fight Crawford. If we're being honest, I mean, Canelo's not even in the same level as Crawford. I don't know what we're talking about here, right? So right off the bat, we knew that Crawford would do what he did. And not only did he do it in that fashion, man, but I remember when I was saying that I think he can knock him out. I was so close. Yeah. All right. And you know what happened, bro? That headbutt on the 9th round tried to say that wasn't on purpose.
We all
tried to say that wasn't on purpose, bro.
He had to do something. He knew he had to do something. We all know he had to do something. Otherwise, it wasn't going to go well.
He was getting his ass whooped so bad, bro. Like, Crawford was stepping up to him. That that headbutt happened and it wasn't an accident. Come on, man.
At all. At all. That was a ditch. This was going in the wrong direction.
Yes.
All right.
And at which direction? Yeah. And at which point, by the way, Professor T, you and I both know from that boxing perspective, you don't want to take any chances because a cut could all of a sudden open and it could be really bad quickly. And that was round 9, so there was still 10, 11, and 12. I understand Crawford still stepped it up, but stepped it up in a very boxing fashion rather than stepping it up like in a war fashion. Does that kind of make sense? Right? Because he normally would have just turned that into a war, but he boxed more than he turned it into a war. Still convincingly, definitely winning the last 3 rounds. I'm just saying.
Correct.
He did that. So that was amazing. And then what shocked me is, and again, ladies and gentlemen, from my perspective, coming in the arena, and I hadn't watched the replays or any highlights, I was extremely biased, I will admit. But from my viewpoint, Professor T, at the ADA handicap section of club level 135, I scored it at best for Canelo, bro. At best for Canelo, it might have been 10-2, bro. Like, for me, I'm just saying Canelo might have only won 2 rounds, maybe, if I'm being nice, right? Because I felt like Crawford was whooping his ass bad, okay? But how did you score it? Like, I want to know, from your perspective, how are you scoring it? And you're more objective than me.
He didn't have it much better. He didn't want to hear my scorecards either, because the truth is, I'll put it to you this way. I had 2 scorecards. I had 1 scorecard as to if they were going to try to rob him, which would have been ridiculous, right? Because he still won, I would say 7 out of those 12. But like you said, I had him at 11-1.
Yeah, see? I'm not crazy.
I gave him 1 round in that fight.
And it was hard to give him that round. It was hard to give. Now, so here's what's crazy.
It was one of the early rounds where he was.
Yep. Here's what was crazy. When I finally got home, right, at 3 a.m, I rested, woke up the next morning, bro. And then I was like, I find out, did you see that Crawford was going to get robbed? If he didn't win the last 2 rounds, bro, they were going to call that bullshit a majority draw.
And we'd be seeing it again.
Bro, I'd have done lost my mind. I'd have lost my mind, Professor T. Crawford was whooping his ass so bad, bro. I could see the buckle marks on Canelo's ass from here, bro. Oh my goodness. And it was crazy to me. But then I remembered I was on the floor to watch Canelo versus Floyd Mayweather.
Right.
And I remember when they read that first scorecard and they said 95-95, and I was like, I had it 11-1 for Floyd. So I need someone to explain this to me, how boxing is scored. So Las Vegas judges are funny, bro. I don't know what to tell you, because I honestly don't know what to tell you about why Crawford would have needed to win the last 2 rounds in order to get away with a 7-5 and a 7-5. Come on, bro. Garbage. They gave, like, these 2 judges, like, gave the 10th round to Canelo. Canelo was getting his ass beat in the 10th round, right? Then they gave him round 5, dude. Round 5, man. Crawford was starting to step it up. Like, this is again, man. It's frustrating to me because they were going to try to rob our guy again.
Right. No,
they're going to try to do it again.
They really were. That's wild. It's boxing. You know, that's really the way to put it. In all honesty, it's boxing. I don't even know any other way to, try to sugar.
We got to stop this. This is boxing shit, Professor T. Turkey. You got to stop this, man. I know at least that the British Boxing Board of Controls, they're a lot more controlled about how they're doing judges, and they do a whole review with the board, and the commissioner reviews their fucking tape, dude. So we need to do something like that, because you already heard about the thing that happened today, where the Atlanta Commission was basically saying hell to the nah to Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis, and then what ends up happening? They're doing it in Florida. You see, commissions in the U.S., they got issues because y'all could be bought, man. Y'all could be bought. Basically, you guys can't just do how the British Boxing Board of Controls does it. The British Boxing Board of Controls, they're all governed by the same dude. So you can't just you know like there's a reason why you don't see crazy ass circus fights in the UK. And when it is a circus type fight, they announce it as such. They go, oh, by the way, this isn't real boxing. This is like influencer boxing. So it doesn't count, right? We'll still judge it, but it doesn't really count, right? They'll actually say that to you. They're not trying to convince you otherwise. So like I said, man, with that said, I was thoroughly, I would have been so pissed, bro. I would have been so pissed if it would have been a majority draw. So thank goodness it wasn't. You tell me, what do we do now for Terrence Crawford, who's 38? Happy birthday, Terrence Crawford. I think it's in a couple more days. But happy birthday to the champ. He will be going into 39 if he decides to fight again next year. And he honestly has said, and I'm looking at his face when he says this, he keeps saying he really doesn't know what he'll do. So my two questions for you, Professor T, is number one, seeing what you just saw, history being made, it's extremely difficult to not ever talk about Terrence Crawford now in the greatest of all time conversation. It's very tough now. It becomes much tougher. But if you were him and you climbed a mountain, what do you do, right? Like what? So that's my first question, which now my second question goes against it. But if you were him and you put buckle to ass that bad to the pound for pound number 8 best fighter in the world at 38 years old, then why would you quit too, right? Like so let me ask you first, if you were Terrence Crawford or you were in his team, how would you advise him at this point?
I would advise him to look at, what's most important. I mean, is he happy with where he is financially and being able to take care of whoever else, right? And call it quits? Or do you have the desire to go make, $100 million? Because that's pretty much what the answer is going to be. At this point, I wouldn't fight for anything less than $100 million.
Oh, of course. He only got 50 for this one.
Yeah.
So
So with that being said, yes, absolutely. I could be bribed if I were him. I don't think he has much to worry about. I don't think he's going to see any kind of style that's going to cause him any problems. The only thing I would say to be wary on is trying to go back down anywhere. Definitely anything below 160. If I were him, I would look to conquer 160.
Okay.
That's
who would you want at 160? Or who could you fight
there
at 160? And how would you do it?
I would pick whoever's there. I wouldn't waste any time with it. I would he's used to fighting bigger fighters. He's already proven that. He's already obviously proven against Canelo. So why waste time? Go straight for the number one guy.
Well, the number one guy is Janabek, as you know, Janabek Alamhala, who has both the WBO and the WBC, I believe, or WBO and IBF. Right. Adamas has the WBC and Arislan Lara has the WBA. Those are the four, right? But there's no Ring Magazine champion. So you could easily say that Crawford fighting any one of those guys would be the Ring Magazine champion. But you're saying, based on what you saw, you would have no issues with 39-year-old Crawford fighting again.
No, not if he can make a bank. That's going to matter. There goes that old trusty TikTok.
That's TikTok. Thank you, TikTok.
Yeah.
So you're saying no issues. You would rather than just walk away now. Walk away now and be always be known as that person. You're saying take a $100 million payday and fight.
It would be tough for me to have that walk away. I'd have to keep taking. I'd have to think about it for sure.
Okay. All right. Now, because we're in the super fight era nowadays, right?
That's what I'm saying.
We're in the super fight era now, and Crawford is the king. He's the king at 168 now, pound for pound number one.
Right.
He was number 3. He beat number 8. Now he's number 1. Right. Second one would be then. Do you think, and you understand this more, this climate, because you came from the East Coast, if he did a fight at where the Cornhuskers played, the Nebraska Stadium. Now he just filled 70,482. Right. I don't know what Cornhusker Stadium fills, but it's Crawford now, and he's a superstar, right? Could he do a fight there in Omaha, Nebraska, and fill out that entire stadium like it was a college bowl game?
100%, yes. Bud would fill out Nebraska. There was a lot of Bud people there. There was a lot of Bud people at that fight.
Oh, yeah, no. I was sitting by a whole bunch of them. So what I'm saying, though, is if it was like a bowl game, is that, like, for example, would you travel all the way to Omaha, Nebraska to go see something like that?
I'm going to see him if he's in Omaha because I know my boys is going. And it's a
okay.
I've been to Omaha quite a few times. I've driven to Omaha, I want to say 3 times, man. 2 or 3 times, something like that.
But you definitely believe that he could fill out that stadium, Professor T. Like you would fill it out.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
All right, because that might be the direction that Turkey might want to go. That promote or do an event in Omaha, Nebraska. Right. All right, how about this one? Since we're in the super fight era now, any one of these stars at 154 pounds willing to move up to challenge the man. Any one of them willing to risk their or their career trajectory? Sergio Ortiz, Fundura, Boots Enos, anybody.
They too soft. Nobody
wants. Nobody wants any of this. All right. Yep. So then the obvious question then becomes, do you think that the people would pay to see a rematch?
Yes.
Really?
I think they would.
Really?
I think they would.
Shocked.
I think they
would.
I'm
shocked.
Even with the fact that Canelo, basically said, I can't beat this man. I mean, it was obvious.
It was obvious.
It was obvious. But I think the casuals and he's that country that he's got behind him, they're going to give him a second chance. I'm just being honest. I really think they would in a heartbeat.
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, a rematch would earn him $100 million if Canelo wants that type of ass whooping again. So that's my next question to you: is if you're Canelo, right. and truthfully, when you and I were there and Canelo was speaking, didn't it kind of sound like he wanted to retire right then?
Right then and there, it's like, yeah, that was good. We good. Time to I'll call it a career. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad at you, by the way. If Canelo wanted to retire today, I'd still have him as one of the greatest, if not the greatest Mexican fighter of all time. I'd still have you up there as one of the greats. And this is what I mean is I think that just in our channel we try to explain to people, look, this is a sport where people can die. So we're not going to talk down about fighters. We're going to talk up fighters. And the fact of the matter is, all we got to see on Saturday with our own eyes in the arena is that one of the Mount Rushmores of boxing just defeated one of the greatest that we've seen in this era also, right? Why can't 2 people be amazing and one guy just be better? Like, why do we have to cut the other person down? Michael Jordan whooped a lot of ass, all right? But we don't say Karl Malone sucked or John Stockton sucked or Reggie Miller or you know what I'm saying? So we're not going to do that. We're not going to say Canelo sucks all of a sudden. In fact, I'll go as far as to say that version of Canelo, I don't believe anyone currently right now could beat that version of Canelo. Agree? Do you agree?
Absolutely.
If Boots Enos went up to fight at 168, I don't think he could have beat that Canelo. That was a really good Canelo.
I agree.
But Crawford was just better. That's all that happened, right? So, so with that said, then, and this one's gonna hurt you, or not? Maybe it won't actually. And I got to be there around this man, and I love him and I praise him all the time. But I might have to do the whole Crawford's better than Mayweather argument. And before people start attacking me, let me say it from this context. I can debate extremely well on why Floyd Mayweather is one of the best we've ever seen. Not only that, he's way up there, right? It's hard to even take him off the top 10 of all time. But we're seeing someone who actually did fight Canelo. Right. So my question to you then is there any version of Floyd Mayweather that you remember seeing in his career, Professor T, that would have beaten the 168-pound version of Canelo that you and I just watched last night? Think of all the versions you've seen of Floyd when he was bigger. Right. Birdo, Cotto, I mean, De La Hoya, right? And those were all 54s. None of them were 68s. But I'm just talking about if that's the biggest version we watched Floyd fight at, right, the 154 version, is there any version of that Floyd that could have moved up to 168 and defeated the Canelo we just watched on Saturday night?
Floyd is not big. Floyd is smaller than Crawford. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Now,
go ahead.
No. I was gonna say, for me, I can't see it, and you know why I can't see it? Because I never did.
Right.
And I was around the man, and I never saw it. I never saw a 168-pound Floyd Mayweather challenge somebody at 168 pounds. I never saw Floyd go up to even 160 to challenge Golovkin. I'm not saying he wouldn't have beaten Golovkin. I'm saying I never even got to see it. Right. So I actually don't know. But what I did see is 38-year-old Crawford move up to 168 and put a buckle on that ass. I did see that. I actually saw with my own two eyes.
Right.
So it's hard for me not to say Crawford isn't at that level now, right? So if I were to offend anyone who's a huge Mayweather fan, and I'm a huge Mayweather fan, but I'm just saying, if I were to offend anyone, please understand that the context I'm talking about is what I've seen with my own eyes, right? We're not doing a great who's better, let's take a look at their resume. We're not doing none of that. We're just saying, at 168 pounds, we could totally say that Crawford did what Sugar Ray Leonard did. Crawford did what Tommy Hearns did. Crawford did what, you know what I'm saying, right? We could talk in that manner. We could do the Duran thing. Crawford did what Duran did. Duran moved up too, all the way to 160 and won a world title.
Sure did.
Right? So that's all we're saying when we do the now Crawford and Mayweather debate. So now we go to context of this. If you're an American fan and you got to live through both generations, like Severe got to live through the Mayweather generation and now the Crawford generation. So who's the who's the better guy? Who would win in a fight? Who would win in a fight, Professor T? Yeah. Same weight class, who would win in a fight?
I'm giving it to Crawford, man. It's just he's just done things that I haven't seen Floyd or anybody else do. Right?
It's crazy, right? Because we weren't even talking like this until what we saw on Saturday. That's what I mean. It's so shocking to me because you would have had a hard time convincing me of this argument.
Correct.
Before I watched what I saw on Saturday.
Correct.
Now I'm sitting there and I'm rethinking this shit. Like, well, at 147, I'd probably give it to Crawford.
Right.
Maybe at 135, I'd give it to Floyd. Like, I'd have to look back now. Right? You see what I mean, dude? Like, it's crazy what Crawford did in just that one fight, bro. He went from relative obscurity to greatest of all time.
Overnight.
Purely overnight. So again, it was great to witness. This will be something that we'll get a chance to talk about during the show. The rest of the year. Professor T is going to go to more boxing events as the year moves on. But my biggest takeaway from Saturday night for me is I got to be alive for something that's truly great, and it's very few times, not only in our sport, Professor T, but in our lives that we'll get to say we were actually a part of something great, right? Like we were there for something great. We witnessed something great, and you and I witnessed something great, man. It was I want to thank my organ donor's family and my organ donor who's not with us anymore, obviously. But when I was going through that arena, if you guys look at my Instagram, I was shouting him out on every post because I felt like I was taking this. He would have been 21 years old this year. I felt like I was taking him to this event too, right? And I took pictures with my shirts that honor him on the chairs that I was sitting in, and just for us to be alive, man, Professor T, because life can go at you like this, bro. And I think too many people just take it for granted. And the fact that you and I were there, and the fact that you and I were together, like I told you, man, I love you, bro. So
love you too.
Yeah, no, that's my biggest takeaways. That was an event of a generation, something that your kids will talk about.
Right.
Your son will literally say, my dad was there that week. Here's the shirt that was, like he'll be able to talk about it, which is quite amazing, man. So that's it for me. Thank you, Bud Crawford. Thank you to Team Crawford. Thank you to Canelo and all of his fans. Thank you to all the Mexican people that made this an event. Thank you to Turkey Al Sheikh. Thank you to Dana White. Thank you to everybody that made it happen. From and all the broadcasters. I promise me and Professor T will get a chance to watch it. But some of the people we know, like John Anik and Skipper Kelp and everybody. So Andre Ward. I'm sure you guys were all great. Me and Professor T just didn't get to see you yet, but we promise we will get a chance to watch. So yeah, no, that's it for that. That's it for me. But yeah, truly blessed, Professor T. Truly blessed.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. I mean, hey, I'm right along with you. I can just say ditto, man. This is a great show. Yeah, we haven't had any comments. This is a weird show. I don't know, and I do have this set up just a tad different. I'm actually remote, but it's weird. The numbers are weird.
Not the same like last week when we were talking about it.
So let me explain to you. Yeah, we are right at 900 viewers. So I mean, yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, that's weird. We were like at 4,000 on a couple of them. We were like 1,500, I think, last week. Yeah. So yeah. Well, again, if you guys all get to watch this on replay whenever you get to see it, we basically just mainly talked about how grateful we were that we got to see Fight Week, and we're looking forward to the rest of the year. There's a ton of fights. I promise me. Yeah, me and Professor T will break them all down for you guys. There's fights this weekend that me and Professor T haven't even gotten a chance to talk about yet, and we will, and then we'll cover it with you guys next week. Conor Ben versus Chris Eubank versus Conor Ben's coming up. Right. Then there's the November Riyadh card. There's an October Philly event with Boots Enos. There's so many fights. There's another one here in Las Vegas that's going to be happening in another few weeks. So again, more and more content here at the Knockout Canvas that we'll give you guys. But yeah, no, that's it for me, Professor T. Please, everybody who did get a chance to listen tonight, and for all the ones listening on replay, always consider organ donation, because I wouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for the power of that.
Right. And Jonathan Da Silva, hello from Brazil. There goes one. And again, we've clearly had people watching. People just quiet today. Not a lot, not a lot of talk, but I have a feeling that's a lot of those Mexican fans.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Phones, man,
that's true. We were getting hammered the last 2 weeks, bro.
They were out trolling. Everybody thought we were crazy.
Hey, man, it is what it is. And let me just say again to all of the Mexican fans and all the Canelo fans, not only do we not disrespect Canelo, we respect him to the point where we consider him one of the greatest we've seen with our own eyes in this generation. He's an amazing fighter. It just wasn't his night, man. And I don't think it'll ever be his night if he chooses to rematch again. If he chooses a rematch, he might actually for real get knocked out the second time. So he might want to chillax for Canelo. Maybe Canelo can. I honestly don't even know what's gonna happen with Canelo now because I don't know where he goes from here. If I'm being honest, I don't know who he can fight.
I don't either, man. I honestly don't either. So it'll be interesting to find out. It'll be interesting to find out how this goes. All right. Yeah. So that's it. What do we got next, man? Any fights coming up?
Yep, there's definitely a ton of fights that are coming up. You probably won't get a chance to watch it because you'll be working this weekend. But there are fights that are for any of you guys who are still listening to us right now. If you want to know the fight schedule, there is a fight happening in Australia in a few hours. Liam Paro is back. He's going to be fighting. And then on Friday on the Zone for free in Detroit, Michigan, Brandon Moore is going to be fighting. I think he's moving up to heavyweight now to fight DeAndre Savage. And then on Friday, there's also another fight that's happening in Orlando, Florida. I'm not sure if that's on the Zone yet or not, but one of our local guys here, Kaipo Gallegos, he's coming up in the ranks. He's going to be fighting Kevin Brown's the main event on that card. And then somebody who I think should already be in Ring Magazine, but he's, at the Ring pound for pound list, but he's not yet. He owns 2 of the minimum weight belts, and I know I'm talking about a 105-pound fighter, but yes, that's how we roll at the Knockout Canvas. We actually watch all of them. All right.
We watch them all. We watch them all.
We like them all. Oscar Collazo is defending his 2 belts in Indio, California, which is in Southern California, against Jason Vison. That's a Golden Boy Promotions card that will be free on the Golden Boy YouTube. If you guys want to watch that, that's happening on Saturday. And then on the Zone in Houston, Texas, at the OTX, or I think it's an OTX show of some sort, but it's Brian Gorham versus Yomar Alamo. Tiara Brown, who beat Sky Nicholson, she's defending her title against Emma Gongora. Giovanni Marquez, I think is the kid of Raul. I'm not sure, but I think he is the kid of Raul. He's fighting. Oscar Perez is fighting against Malik Lewis. That's in Houston, Texas on Saturday, September 20th. There's a card in New York on Saturday, also September 20th. So like I said, Professor T, just this weekend alone, man, it's not just football. There's a ton of boxing. There's UFC on the board. So yeah, we'll be talking about it next week when you get back. We'll talk about it all. You said you got to go to Utah anyway, so we'll figure out how to do the Wednesday show.
We'll do Wednesday though for sure. We'll do it.
Okay.
I'll just be out of town, so I have to. Yeah, there's no.
We'll figure it out.
No, it's Wednesday now, so yeah, I got time. I'll get everything set up. It's just
all right. Cool. Cool.
Well,
continue to rock that Terrence Crawford Ring Magazine shirt.
Yeah. So I didn't even get to show. We got these great books. I didn't even think to show these. Right.
You opened one. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
3 others.
Wow. Is it the Ring Magazine book? Is it a special edition? What's in it? And that came too? Oh, hey man.
Right.
Yeah. You never know. You and me might go to Saudi Arabia one of these times, Professor T.
I would love it. And last but not least, I got the last one of these.
Oh shit!
I got the last one. I literally got the last one. If you want to ever hear about perseverance, I'll tell you guys this. Look. I'm going to give you guys this one last little piece of nugget. The reason I tell people that you don't want to fight me is because I'm never going to stop. I'm never going to stop. And until they make me stop. And I'm one of those guys that's just going to dig and dig and dig. Angelo will tell you, the night at Underdog, we didn't have these books. We didn't have a book. What do we get, Angelo? What do we get?
Oh, we ended up getting more than just books. But you went after everyone. You were like, where'd you get that?
I did not. When Professor T, when Turf, when Terrence, any of the names I go by, when I get hooked on to something, it's game over. It's game over. And I just, that's the advice I give to any and everybody else. Think of it like being a pit bull. Just don't ever let go. Don't give it. Look, all they can do is keep telling you no. And we know I'm talking about stuff that's not illegal. Get yourself in trouble. But I'm serious, guys. There are countless times I've been told no, or we don't have any more. There's none left. I checked the system. Don't take that for an answer. If it's something you really, really want, go through all lengths to exhaust all options to get it. You will be shocked at what you get. That's the last. I'm telling you, it was the last one.
Well, let me ask you: did you get that at Allegiant, or did you get that at Fountain Blue?
At the state. Oh no, that was at Allegiant. At Allegiant.
Now, how did you get it at Allegiant? You walked up to someone.
I was buying in the at one of the sections, which was close to mine, which was section 125, and it was the display. I had to talk them into giving me the display.
Wow.
And I'm glad you asked that, because that wasn't just the end of the story. It wasn't, I just got the glove because it was the last one. No, I had to talk them into letting me purchase the last one as a display.
Wow. So it was just displayed, and you were like, can you just tell me that one? Can you just tell me that one right there?
First off, what happened was this. I said, I'm not getting out of this line until you exhaust all options. Get on that little thing you got over there in the walkie-talkie on your shoulder, and I want you to call each and every one of these ones in here. And whichever one has it, I'm going to pay for it here, and I'm going to go walk to it and get it myself. And then, he started making the calls, and then that's when I spotted,
the dude, the glove.
The glove. And I'm like, there's a glove right there. So what is the display? I'll dust that. I don't care if it doesn't come with a box.
Right.
That matters. Right. That look, I don't know if y'all know these gloves that you can't see them probably because of the angle.
Yeah.
That's a Roberto Duran glove, ladies and gentlemen. That's a Roberto Duran glove. I got one with multiple fighters on it Everlast. Dude, I got some. I got Carlos Zarate. But I got some gloves over here, man. This is my favorite glove, dude. This is going to be my favorite glove of all time.
Oh, man.
And I'm going to get this signed by Crawford. I promise you.
Oh, yeah, no. We could probably take a trip down to Omaha and go fishing with Crawford.
We'll go bass fishing. But I promise you, I'm getting that glove signed. But, yeah, man, that's a good positive note to end off, because it's the honest truth, man. It is the honest truth. A lot of people just take no for an answer. They just accept. Yeah. You know what I mean? They just accept. And again, I want to make sure the context is not being lost here.
We're talking about legal stuff, everybody. We're talking about positive things in your life that you want to go after. We're not talking about doing something terrible or illegal or stalking some girl. We're not saying any of that. All right.
I'm just gonna be straight transparent, because no means no, gentlemen. And
yes, no means no. Okay? We're talking about things that, like, when you're going after a career that you really want, or if you want, if you're trying to get an actor's gig, or if you're trying to get a role, or you're trying to get a position in a job, or if you're trying to, you're trying to save your life, like what happened with me, right? Like, you don't take no for an answer. You can't, because the worst case scenario, and again, like you were talking about, Professor T, I lived that in 3 years ago. That my worst case scenario is I'd be dead, and we wouldn't have this show right now, and we wouldn't have gotten to go to Canelo Crawford and none of that. So yeah, that's what Professor T's saying. So kids, We're telling you not to be crazy.
Right.
We're talking about going after your dreams or things, your goals.
Right.
Right. We're not telling you to do anything illegal. Please don't take it out of context.
Right. And with that, my camera is telling us it's time to go.
All right.
So, good night, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time. Peace.